Today, people traveling to Bethlehem, a tiny strip of a town in the West Bank, arrive from Jerusalem, which sits about 6 miles to the north. And as pilgrimage destinations go, Jerusalem has always been something of a big brother to the little town identified in the Gospels as the birthplace of Jesus. As with most older siblings, Jerusalem has had a decidedly rougher go of it over time. The Western Wall, all that remains of the city's once great temple, is a clear reminder of that. Driving around Bethlehem must be as hard on a car as driving around San Francisco. It's all hills and tight fits, plus white limestone. No one goes fast, which makes for a good tour. So on what we still thought was our trip to the checkpoint where we could enter Bethlehem, our cabbie cum tour guide Ahmed drove by the best of the town's political art, pointing out walls covered in the characteristic stencil paintings of British graffiti artist Banksy, a dove in a bulletproof vest caught in the crosshairs of a sniper rifle, a girl in a pink dress patting down a soldier. For Ahmed, the inside of the security wall that surrounds Bethlehem is just as worth seeing, as much a pilgrimage site as the cave beneath the Church of the Nativity where Jesus is said to have been born. The wall speaks for itself, telling a story about a great event. This land and its people have been divided, and it's very clear that there's enough blame to go around, including some for me. The words covering the wall and buildings throughout the town are mainly in English. A gate large enough for tour buses to pass through is decorated with a painting of a US dollar and scrawled with the words, "Escape Hatch." Individual sections of the wall have been stenciled with the phrase, "Made in USA." And one of the most striking paintings, which stretches across 6 individual sections of the wall and nearly reaches over the top, is the iconic image of boxer Sugar Ray Robinson raging at Jake LaMotta, Robert De Niro's raging bull. The Christian sites of Bethlehem are, of course, unmistakable. Milk Grotto Chapel, for example, a solemn, beautiful little church known for its rocky interior, believed to have changed from red to white when some of Mary's milk dripped onto the stone while she was feeding Jesus. And of course, the Church of the Nativity, a building commissioned by Constantine in 326. Arriving through Manger Square, pilgrims bow to pass through the church's tiny door of humility before crowding down some steps into the grotto, where it's believed Jesus was born. Today, the church is decorated not just with candles, an ornate crucifix, gilt Eastern Orthodox icons, and in places a 4th century mosaic floor protected by priests, but also a flurry of massive silver lamps hanging from the rafters and strung with convenience store Christmas ornaments. Down some steps is where you find the sight everyone's come here to see, the site of Jesus' birth. The spot is marked on the floor with a 14-point silver star, and pilgrim after pilgrim, tourist after tourist, bends down to touch and often kiss the holy ground. Others rub a Bible wrapped in a plastic bag over the star, hoping it would seem to take home with them a little bit of the site's holiness. Even so, from any number of vantages, what's most prominently on display in the grotto of the church is a collection of pilgrim bottoms. Similar things happen at Jerusalem's Church of the Holy Sepulchre, visitors bowing low, kissing and rubbing the marble stone that covers the rock on which Jesus' body was supposedly laid to rest. In this church, we see the same attempts to take away some of the magic, both through contact with the stone and an endless series of flashbulbs, proof, I suppose, that the pilgrim has made the trip. Although this isn't always the case. Not everyone's taking pictures. At Calvary, still in Jerusalem, some people are praying. Ahmed waited outside Bethlehem's Christian sites, maybe with this guy, and when we'd finished, He led us into what he claimed was the oldest olive wood factory in Bethlehem, which, by the looks of it, may very well have been the case. Though constructed of the same limestone that makes Bethlehem, like most everywhere else in the Holy Land, glow with the changing color of the sun at dawn, then noon, then dusk, once inside, it felt as though this building had been dug from the earth. 3 Muslim workmen sat carving olive wood with small power tools. They made piles of amulets and trinkets in the shapes of the Virgin Mary, crosses, hearts, and leaves. These, it seemed, were sold up and down Milk Grotto Street. And from inside the shop, Ahmed took us up to the uneven roof of the building, where in the distance he pointed out the flat-topped Herodian, site of King Herod's tomb, an ancient fortress built by the king that was described by Josephus at its height as having the shape of a woman's breast. As we left, continuing down the street past any number of other small wood-carving factories, Ahmed invited us for tea. A friend owns a shop around the corner, he seemed to be saying. It would only be a few shekels. Were we thirsty? I said no. No, we weren't thirsty. No problem, Ahmed said, leading us on to his cab. And right then, I knew we'd missed our chance. And the sad fact was, after a few hours' travel, we were thirsty. Tea would have been perfect.